Thank you so much for being here today, and we wanted to have this press conference to talk a little bit about some of the issues going on in Washington. Nationwide, there are now 38 million student loan borrowers in the U.S., and they now carry a total debt level of $1.1 trillion. Even though Minnesota's college graduates carry the third highest college debt in the country, Congressman Kline of the 2nd Congressional District here in Minnesota has proposed a plan that would let interest rates double. This means that student loan interest rates would change along with the government's cost of borrowing, impacting almost 200,000 students here in Minnesota alone. If Kline is not looking out for the best interests of the future workforce, who is he representing? With so many students coming out of college with increasing debt loads, the last thing we need to do as elected leaders in this country is to make it more difficult for them to plan for their future. To increase that debt load by doubling their interest rates would be a shame. We need to do the responsible thing. We need to make it easier for college graduates not only to find jobs, but to make sure that they can plan for their future without this increased burden of doubling their interest rates as Representative Kline would propose. Joining me today are 3 students. The first one is Nick Stumo-Langer. He's a junior at St. Olaf College from White Bear Lake. Nick?
Like Ken said, I'm Nick Stumo-Langer, Stumo-Langer, and I'm a junior at St. Olaf College. And the bill that Congressman Kline is proposing here would really have a detrimental impact on the students, burdening them further with more debt coming out of college. And looking forward, it would be a really difficult choice to send these students to any institutions that they would want to go to, or to go through the career choices that they want to go to with knowing that they have this extra burden of debt.
Thank you, Nick. Also joining me is, the next one is Molly Weatherall. Molly is a sophomore at Carleton College, and she's from St. Paul.
Hi, so my name is spelled M-O-L-L-I-E, and then my last name is W-E-T-H-E-R-A-L-L. And what's interesting about myself and Nick is that we come from Senator Kline's district. His district is so rich in students with bright futures, and yet we're seeing this legislation that would so seriously harm their very future. It's very upsetting for me because my age bracket, we didn't sign up for this, and we didn't think that this was going to be an expense we would have to shoulder, and this is a burden that many of my peers just can't afford. You know, there are plenty of students who are just scraping by. And this expense is not something we plan for, and it's not something we should be expected to handle at this time in our lives. We're just trying to pursue our education, and it seems like too much to be asking at this time. And I understand that we have such an enormous debt that we have to handle, but you know, that shouldn't be on the backs of our youngest people who have so much to be working towards at this time. So, thank you.
Thank you. And our last speaker is Rim Wodolasi. Rim is junior?
Senior.
Senior at St. Mary's University in Winona. Rim?
So my first name is Rim, R-I-M, last name W-O-L-D-E-S-L-A-S-S-I-E. Being a first-generation student at St. Mary's, I have understood how having loans can be a burden, and just seeing how the rates might double, it can be more of a burden, especially for first-generation students who may not know what the loan process may look like and how to deal with it, since their parents haven't had to go through it as well. And so I just think that's just kind of a step back towards potential students going to college furthering their education, and I just don't want that to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Rim. As you can tell from all of these students who spoke, this would have a crippling effect on choices that they make moving forward. You know, in the end, I think our elected officials in both parties, Democrats and Republicans, owe it to future generations, owe it to young people to make sure that we're providing them every tool for success. And by doubling their interest rate, we're actually adding to their already burdensome future. I mean, think about how we have high unemployment right now. There's very few job opportunities for college graduates. And so for these college students looking at graduating in the next couple of years, not only are they facing the potential of a tough job market, they're also facing, under Congressman Kline's proposal, the reality of having to potentially pay more for their student loans. And you know, it's just not fair to students, it's not fair to younger people. We should be providing as many tools as we can for them to succeed.